Hey everyone, this is Dave. This is just a quick addendum to the video that I posted about 6 weeks ago regarding my questions to NCCC, which is the National Council of Corvette Clubs, and their charity program. The video was posted about 6 weeks ago. It was unlisted. I sent an email to all the officers of NCCC to see if they were willing to answer the questions. I did not receive any response, so I'm about to make it live. I do want to give one quick update. As stated in the video a little later, in April of 2018, I made a request to NCCC for Form 1023, which is the form that they file when they're requesting tax-exempt status. It basically says how the charity is going to operate. They responded in May saying they lost the form, it wasn't available. Make a long story short, a few days ago, we're now December of 2018, I filed a formal complaint with the IRS. IRS has a mechanism for filing complaints against charities who don't provide public information that is supposed to be public. Within 24 hours, I received an email from NCCC. Apparently, they have found the form, and so they sent it to me, which was good. I got a chance to look at it quickly, and the question that I always had was how the raffle was going to operate, and they go into details about that. And the thing that was good to see, was interesting, was Section E under the Corvette raffle about the funds. They say distributing funds raised as soon as all expenses associated with the raffle have been paid. So, they hold the raffle, they reconcile the expenses, that are supposed to give a check to the charity, not wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or to use those funds that they collected in 1 year to offset future expenses. I didn't see any information about that, but obviously if you want to see Form 1023, obviously contact NCCC. Now that they have found the location, they should be more than happy to provide it since it's a matter of public record. So that's it, and now we'll go to the video that was released 6 weeks ago. Thank you. Hey everyone, so this is a really long video. It's over an hour long, and I know the attention span of most people who watch YouTube videos is 2 minutes or less. So I'm just going to start with a summary of all of the questions that I have for NCCC, or the National Council of Corvette Clubs, and their charitable contributions, and the NCCC charity corporations, both of which are 501c3 organizations. If you want more information about a particular question, then watch the entire video. So, all the questions have come out of information that I have found on the internet and is publicly available. I've just spent a lot of time going out and finding all the information and correlating it and trying to put it all together. Most, if not all, of these questions have already been asked via email and mail to NCCC officers and their attorney, but I don't feel they've adequately answered them, and later in the video you will see some of the responses. So perhaps someone in NCCC can answer my questions, and which is one of the purposes of this video. So we'll start with the questions. The tax returns for 2013 through 2016 show around $180,000 in ticket sales on their raffles. However, zero was given to charity. Please explain. FYI, the 2016 tax return shows $63,834 in revenue, and the Corvette that they gave away was $54,000. So that's almost $9,000 in over ticket sales over the cost of the Corvette, but tax returns show nothing. Next question. In 2016, the president of NCCC sent an email to all of the members stating how successful the 2016 raffle was, but the 2016 tax returns show no money was given to charity. Please explain. In all four of the raffles, 2013 through 2016, actually through 2017, the ticket stated that proceeds, or 100% of the proceeds, would go to charity. But in 2013 through 16, nothing was given. Please explain. In 2016, the ticket stated money would be refunded if 2,000 tickets were not sold. The tax returns for 2016 indicate that 2,000 raffle tickets were not sold, but no refund was given. Please explain.
In 2017, the ticket said the same thing. I've been told through email that well under 2,000 tickets were sold, but no refunds were given. Why? FYI, I'm still waiting for the NCCC to send me the 2017 tax returns. Speaking of tax returns, why did it take a formal complaint to the IRS and almost 12 months for NCCC to provide me the tax returns? NCCC is a 501c3 organization, and by law, their tax returns are public and are supposed to be on their website or made available within 30 days of request. It took me almost a year to get them and a formal complaint with the IRS. My question is, why? Next question. Why is NCCC unable or unwilling to provide Form 1023, which is also supposed to be publicly available? Form 23 is a very important form and discusses how the charity will operate. If NCCC doesn't have that form available, then how do they know that they are operating in compliance with the IRS regulations per what they said they would do when the corporation was formed? Next question. In February of 2017, the official NCCC meeting minutes stated that I had made false accusations around the charity program. Please tell me exactly what those false accusations were. Should be very simple. Next question. The meeting minutes state that the NCCC Charity Corporation was created to prevent a charity from getting access to the assets of NCCC. Please explain. Go into more details of why an NCCC formed a charity corporation to protect NCCC assets from the charity. Seems odd. So please explain on that. Next question. The NCCC website has contradictory information about how much was given to charity. The discrepancies are close to $500,000. Please explain. Next question. Did NCCC register their raffle with the state where the drawing was held? I have checked with a couple of the states and I was told there was no license to be found. If NCCC didn't register the raffle with the state, why not? Next question. In June of 2016, I received an email from the president of NCCC. The email stated that almost $50,000 in raffle tickets were sold in 2015. However, the tax returns for 2015 show less than $30,000 were sold. $30,000 worth of tickets were sold. My question is, where's the other 20 grand? So that's a summary of the questions. There's probably a few more in the video, but those are the highlights. So if you're a reporter or a state federal investigator and want to talk to me, then send an email that's on the bottom of the screen, and I can provide you all of the information that I talk about in the video. If you want to watch the rest of the video and you'll get a lot more information about each of these questions, feel free to post comments in the comments section of the video. If you want to stop watching now, that's cool, and have a nice day. Hey everyone, this is Dave Burritt, and we're going to do a little different type of video today. As you know, most of my videos are around talking about rare and unusual antique slot machines or rare music machines, like this 1910 Mills Violano machine, or drones, different drone models or videos of my drones. Today is going to be completely different, and what the purpose of this video is to try to gain information from a particular charity. And I want to be clear, I am not making any accusations at all in this video. I am just asking questions. Most, if not all of these questions have been sent to the charity's officers, both through email and mail. They've also been sent to the attorney that I received a letter from. And so many of the questions have not been answered, or the answers don't make sense. I am not an MBA. I am not an attorney. I am just a guy that likes to know about a charity before I participate in a raffle. So anyway, I also want to make it very clear, I have no connection or affiliation whatsoever to National Kidney Foundation or St. Jude. I think these are both extremely worthwhile charities and should be supported. So I want to make that clear. All of the information that I'm going to show is from public sources on the internet. And a lot of it is from the National Council of Corvette Club's website, or NCCC. And fortunately, in their usage agreement on their website, they make the following statement. The National Council of Corvette Clubs maintains this website to provide relevant information concerning our programs and updates. You are invited to browse this site. You may download material displayed on this site for non-commercial purposes only, provided you also retain all copyright and other proprietary notices contained on the materials. So, they have given me permission to show any information that's on their website in this video. So I thank them for that. I also want to thank them for making the quarterly National Governor meeting minutes available on their website. So if you click on meeting minutes on their website, you'll get a list of all the governor's meeting minutes going back, about, I don't know, 12, 14 years. So that was extremely useful. And hopefully the website will continue to post those documents and all that. So before we get started, I do want to acknowledge some people who really motivated me to keep digging, and those are some of the officers in the Rocky Mountain region of NCCC, and also the president and some of the officers with the Central Colorado Corvette Club. They added more motivation for me to look into this. So thanks to those individuals, and let's go to the next segment. So before we get into it and go any further, I want to address a question that some people have made to me, like, why do you care? What do you care about how much the charity gets and all that? And I guess my only response is, in my opinion, complacency and apathy are rampant in society. And it's just so easy to not pay attention, just put on your blinders and just, focus on your day-to-day activities. And if you know me, you know that's not how I roll. If I see something that I don't agree with, I will speak up. And I don't care who it is to. I don't care if it's a senator, a congressman, my next door neighbor. I will give people my opinions and, listen to their opinions, to have an adult discussion. It's okay to disagree, but when it comes to looking the other way, that's not how I roll. And if, when I do start asking questions, when I get answers that don't make sense, when I get answers that threaten me with lawsuits, that will just make me dig in harder and look harder, which is why, after 2 years, I've got this information. So that's all I'm going to say about that, and we can get to the next segment. All that. So, a little history. So I was a member of NCCC for 15 plus years. And in fact, I'm the one that created the video that NCCC uses to advertise NCCC at the Corvette Museum. There's a kiosk there that they had set up, and it talks about NCCC and things like that. And I produced that for them and created it, and for no charge, and that was good. About 5 years ago, our club wanted to leave NCCC. I was the #1 proponent to the club to convince them to actually rejoin. They voted to leave NCCC at a meeting that I was not present at. The following year, there was a big discussion, and I was the big proponent for the club to come back into NCCC. That was about 5 years ago. I got my notes here. So anyway, so then, we were in CCC for a couple years. Then in 2017, for a variety of reasons, we decided to rejoin. I'm not going to go into those reasons. It's not really important. So in 2016, I was a governor of our small Corvette club, and the governor is the interface to NCCC for a club. And so, that's when our club was a member of NCCC. In June, I talked to an officer of NCCC, and I was informed, at least what I understood was that in previous years, when NCCC did their big Corvette raffle, that no money was going to the charity, and that disturbed me. So I informed the club of this, and the club said, well, we are not going to buy any raffle tickets for the for the Corvette through NCCC. We will sponsor the Corvette raffle through the museum. So that's fine. So I sent an email out to all the governors and the officers of the region saying, our club has decided not to support the Corvette raffle for NCCC. Well, on June 30th, I received a very strong email from the president of NCCC saying I was mistaken, and that he quoted some numbers and all that, and he actually threatened to start proceedings to expel me from NCCC. Actually, that didn't upset me. Like, if they want to expel me, fine, whatever. But I was concerned that maybe my actions did cause NCCC to not sell a couple raffle tickets through our club. So anyway, I apologized. Said sorry. I must have misunderstood, and I informed the club that I must have been mistaken. And NCCC responded, thanked me for the apology. All is well and good. Life goes on. Life is good. So let's fast forward to the fall of 2016. So being a governor, you receive reports from the various national officers, the treasurer and the secretary, things like that. And I received a profit and loss report for the charity, for the car raffle. Now, I'm going to show this on the screen, but since this was not public information, I've blurred out all the numbers. But what was interesting, there was an arrow, and this arrow was in the report. It's not an arrow that I added. That it showed a very large expense in 2016, and that money appeared to be being moved to the 2015 income line. This seemed really weird. Now, like I said, I'm not an MBA, not an accountant, but I can look at financial reports and get an idea of what's going on. A little more history. In 2015, NCCC determined that the National Kidney Foundation, that would be the last year that the car raffle would support that charity. And they decided to go to St. Jude in 2016 and beyond until they change again. Perfectly fine, Organizations change who they want to support, and I didn't have a problem with that. I mean, National Kidney Foundation is a great organization, so is St. Jude. So that's fine. But the profit and loss report for 2016, the income, I believe, would have been for St. Jude. But this arrow showed a lot of, it wasn't an insignificant amount of money. It was a pretty good sized chunk of change. On the expense side for 2016, and go into the income side of 2015. That just made no sense. So I sent an email saying, could you explain this? And the explanation didn't make any sense to me. And I'm not going to show, it just didn't make sense. So I started asking more questions. And I wasn't getting answers that I could comprehend. They didn't make sense to me. And so in December, or maybe it was November, it's November, December, I sent an email asking to see the official books for the charity portion, Corvette raffle. Well, to put it mildly, that was denied. They said, no, we're not going to do that. So I continued to ask a few more questions. And then in February of 17, I received a letter and an email from NCCC, from the president, and there were several interesting statements in that. But one of them was, on behalf of the National Council of Corvette Clubs, I believe that both my officers and I have answered your questions and provided relevant documentation to you. As those records show, NCCC has donated and will continue to donate thousands of dollars to charity each year. Well, I said, okay, I can get this letter, but he's referencing this relevant documentation, and I don't recall getting it. So, I sent him an email back saying, well, if you did send me the documentation, I don't recall getting it. If you emailed it to me, maybe it bounced, maybe it went to my spam folder, although I checked my spam folder, didn't see anything. Could you please send it to me again? No response. While we're on the topic of talking about the letter that NCCC sent to me in February of 2017, that letter stated, NCCC has given thousands of dollars to charity every year and will continue to do so. I read that. That's great. And NCCC is giving a lot of money to charity. However, the 2013 through 2016 tax returns, which I've already discussed earlier, and here's a chart that shows how much was given to charity in those 4 years, do not reflect that. So my question to NCCC is, please explain the discrepancy. So last night I was kind of curious to learn more about the NCCC and their charity program. I'd already read a lot and found a lot of information, haven't even discussed most of it. But one of the questions that comes to mind is, why is NCCC even doing an external charity? And it seems like a lot of work. And in some more meeting minutes, I found this. It says, the board determined that NCCC does need a charity program. This is something that our sponsors support. Later on, it goes to say, XXX stated that the grants and scholarship programs are self-serving in that they go directly to benefit our members and their families. Because we've had questions from our sponsors regarding the support of a charity, XXX feels that we need to have an outside charity to support. So, it sounds like NCCC gives out money to scholarships, but it's only to NCCC members and their families, and that could be construed as self-serving. So, anyway, take it for what it says. I'm not going to make any more comments about it. If you have any questions, contact NCCC itself. So, since a lot of my questions hadn't been answered, or they'd been answered in a way that didn't make sense to me, I started getting really curious. So I started doing some more research on the internet. I went to the NCCC website and I found meeting minutes dating back a long time. And so I actually compiled all those meeting minutes, and then I started searching for charity, things like that. And I found some very, very interesting information, which we'll go into later. I then also discovered that there are actually two corporations. There's the National Council of Corvette Clubs, and there's the National Council of Corvette Clubs Charity Corporation. and both of these are 501c3 corporations. So I got to thinking about, why are there two separate corporations, NCCC proper and the charity corporation for NCCC. And given that I've got the meeting minutes that go back about 16 years, I did a little more research last night. And in November of 2006, there were some entries in the governor's meeting minutes. These are on the web for everyone to see, regarding the two corporations. And specifically, it says, it is its own corporation because of the raffle. It was separated when Spina Bifida wanted a percentage of our NCCC money. Now if NKF does something similar, they can only go after charities funds. So lots of assumptions can be made from that statement. I'm not going to make any of them. Just stating what was presented in the November 2006 meeting minutes as an explanation why there are two corporations, NCCC proper and NCCC charity. Interestingly enough, on all the raffle tickets, on all the raffle ads that I could see, it always said NCCC was doing the raffle, not the NCCC charity corporation. So don't know if there's any legal issues with that at all. Not an attorney, not for me to decide. Just wanted to point out what I found last night. So I then started doing research on 501c3 organizations, and I went to the IRS website. Well, it turns out that all 501c3 organizations' tax records are public. And in fact, they're supposed to be on the website for the corporation. So I go back to the NCCC website and I search all over, can't find any information about their tax returns. So I send them an email saying, I'd like the tax returns for 2013, 14, and 15. I didn't think the 16s would be ready yet because it was early 17. Anyway, no response. So I do some more checking with the IRS, and I find there's an actual form you can submit to the IRS about corporations who don't provide their tax returns. And the IRS states, I believe, that once you make a formal request, you have 30 days. They have 30 days to get you the information, and they can charge you a reasonable copy fee, which is fine, So time goes by, no response. So I file a complaint with the IRS saying, this corporation, specifically the NCCC Charity Corporation, I requested the documents and didn't receive them. I then make several more requests to NCCC for the tax returns, and I get no response. I do get a response from the IRS acknowledging my complaint and saying, they'll look into it. So that's interesting. So anyway, finally in February of 2018, almost a year later, I get a letter from their attorney with the tax returns. And they also included 2016. So I had 13, 14, 15, and 16. There was a bunch of other statements in that letter, which I'll get to later. So here are my questions. Why doesn't NCCC and the NCCC Charity Corporation post their tax returns on their website per IRS regulations? There's actually a field on the 990 form, which is what 501c3 corporations file, that talks about this. So why are the tax returns not public? Or why are they not on the website? The next question is, Why did it take NCCC almost a year to provide the tax returns to me? The IRS states it should be done within 30 days, and doing a little digging, there's fairly significant penalties, and I believe the penalties are levied against the officers, not against the corporation, for failure to comply. So anyway, these are my first questions. Why is there no transparency? Why are our NCCC tax returns not posted? So while I'm on the topic of talking about requesting tax returns from NCCC, the IRS also requires a charity to provide what's called a Form 1023 available for public access or upon request. So I requested this form from the NCCC Charity Corporation, and I got the following statement from the attorney. It says, Mr. Burritt, as you may already be aware, the NCCC charity received 501(c)(3) tax-exempt status from the IRS in 1997. However, after a diligent search, the NCCC charity is unable to locate the application form that was submitted 21 years ago. Nonetheless, the IRS recently affirmed that the NCCC charity was recognized as a 501(c)(3) tax-exempt organization in 1997. Though the NCCC charity is not required to provide you with the affirmation letter, a copy is attached. So, the Form 1023, as I understand it, is the form that you submit when you're trying to get tax exempt status. I think it's a pretty important form. And apparently NCCC has, misplaced this form. Pretty amazing, especially given how anal NCCC is about records. I mean, regarding autocrosses and car shows and all that, the big thick rule book they have, and the governors have to submit all the results within 2 weeks or whatever it is. If they could lose this form. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. So now let's go back to the email that the president of NCCC sent to me and CC'd others back on June 30th of 2016, over 2 years ago. In that mail, the following statement is made. In 2015, NCCC raised almost $50,000 selling tickets for NKF. When I got that email, I took him at his word. Okay, 50 grand, that's good. However, the tax returns show less than $30,000 were in fact sold. Actually, $29,820 in gross receipts. I mean, perhaps the number that was quoted in the email was a mistake. But further in the email, he makes the following statement. So I would assume all the statements he made were facts. And what he said to me was, to state this without any facts to back up your statement is damaging to NCCC and the new charity supporting St. Jude. Well, that was true. I did not have facts back in 2016. I just had information that was told to me when I was talking to an officer, and I assumed I heard wrong. So I would assume he'd have his facts straight. So anyway, the email I received says almost 50,000 tickets were sold, but the IRS statement says 29,820 were sold. So that's almost a $20,000 discrepancy. So my question is, where's the 20 grand? I mean, I could not find it on the IRS Form 990. This is not an accusation at all. I am just asking a question. The president said 50,000 tickets were sold, approximately, almost 50,000. The IRS form says 29,820. That's close to $20,000. What happened to that money? Was it a mistake? Wouldn't think it was a mistake given the statement he made to me about not having my facts straight. So, in the same email, he said, money given to NKF over the 19 years is in the hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million. Well, that's a pretty broad range, hundreds of thousands to $1 million. So, again, I took him at his word, and I'm not saying he was lying or anything like that. No accusations, just trying to understand what's going on. So, but in the May of 2018 meeting minutes of the Rocky Mountain chapter of NCCC, the following was stated. It says, from the National Governor's Meeting, the final payment of $5,826.64 has been made to the National Kidney Foundation. Over the years, $250,000 has been given to them. Our charity is now St. Jude. There was a big parade of Corvettes driving to the research hospital just recently. Okay, well, so the region minutes for NCCC, for the Rocky Mountain region, from a person who attended the governor's meeting last spring, says $250,000 has given to them. And then a final payment of $5,826.64 was made to National Kidney Foundation. But, so, it's nowhere close to $1 million, but anyway. And then it says, our issue with the IRS has been settled. So I would just like an explanation between the discrepancy of what was stated by the president in his email to me in 2016 and this statement that was on the regional website. I mean, it's quite a difference. Also, what's the issue with the IRS? There was money paid apparently to the IRS. Where did that money come from? How much was it? Was that money did that money come from money that was collected for St. Jude or for the National Kidney Foundation? Was that IRS issue related to the National Kidney Foundation charity or St. Jude? I would like a clear explanation as to what that issue was. So let's go to the meeting minutes. And like I said at the beginning, I've been doing lots of research, tons of documentation that I found on the internet. We won't go through all of it. In the February 2017 National Governor meeting minutes, which was posted on the NCCC website and for the whole world to see, it said, I was accused of making false accusations, and I have sent NCCC several requests stating exactly what were those false accusations. And in that same official meeting minutes, that was in February of 17, the following was stated. I'm not reporting the name of the people who made the statements. I don't want to be accused of slander or libel, although it's posted on the web. Anyway, it says, XXX reported information regarding the NKF charity program in response to false accusations from former NCCC member David Burritt. After a great deal of effort on XXX's part, and after obtaining the check register from XXX, she was able to prepare a summarized report of the history of NKF charity program dating back to 1996. This is interesting. During this time frame, NCCC donated just shy of $750,000 to NKF. It's a lot of money, $750,000. Actually, I hope it's true. I really do. But if you read the May meeting minutes from the Rocky Mountain region, who, you know, this person went to the governor's meetings. That says $250,000 has been given to them. So in the February meeting minutes, it says roughly $750,000 was given. And in the meeting minutes in May, it says $250,000 was given. So what happened to the extra $500,000? I mean, that is a big, at least in my opinion, that's a big number. What's the discrepancy? Or please explain the discrepancy. Or maybe I just don't know how to read. Maybe I'm not comprehending this. And if that's the case, just tell me. And then, interestingly enough, if you go on the NCCC website under charity, it says proceeds from the raffle in the last 9 years have netted a donation of greater than $500,000 to the National Kidney Foundation. So the official website says $500,000 was given. The February meeting minutes say about $750,000 was given, and the latest update was $250,000. Well, actually, to be fair, it says proceeds from the raffles in the last 9 years have netted a donation of greater than $500,000. Well, thanks to the internet and searching around, I was able to obtain the last 9 years of tax returns for the NCCC Charity Corporation. And the last 9 years, nowhere close to $500,000. So please explain why prominently on your NCCC website, you're saying you gave $500,000 at National Kidney Foundation, but that does not reflect the tax returns. I don't understand why that's the case. Okay, so before we leave talking about the statement where my name was mentioned specifically in the February of 17 meeting minutes, I want to read a couple statements that the NCCC attorney sent to me. It says, "My belief that I am protected by the First Amendment is misguided. I am still liable for damages caused by defamation, slander, and libel, despite your right to free speech. Defamation refers to false statements of fact that harm another's reputation. An individual and/or a corporation may bring an action against you for defamation. Libel is written defamation, and slander is oral defamation. While an aggrieved person or corporation can seek damages for the harm caused to their reputation, actions for defamation often seek punitive damages based on the reckless, willful, and wanton nature of the defendant's conduct. Punitive damages assessed against a defendant are never covered by an insurance policy. In those situations, a defendant's personal assets are at risk." Okay, that's kind of what I understood slander and libel to be. So, in the meeting minutes that were published on the internet, are still on the internet, it says, "This person reported information regarding the NKF charity program in response to false accusations from David Burritt." So my request to NCCC, and this has been made to their attorney and to their officers, what are the false accusations that I made? If I made false accusations, please post them in the meeting minutes. Okay? Simple. If I made false accusations, post them. If I did not make false accusations or any statements that I made that were not true, I would really appreciate a retraction on the NCCC website and an update in the meeting minutes. the meeting minutes in May of 17, and I encourage everyone to go look at them. It also which it mentioned my name, and it mentioned that an officer of NCCC verbally talked about my false accusations. So, at least to me, you know, if you're accusing me of slander and libel, I would assume the same goes to you, and the same comment about insurance not covering yourself would also apply. So that's all I'm going to say about the February meeting minutes. But you know, you call someone out by name about making false accusations, and you're not willing to put what those accusations were, well, in my opinion, that ain't right. So, either state what the accusations were and why they were false, or put up a retraction. That's all I ask. You know, I now have the tax returns. I didn't have those tax returns when I first read this. So, let's move on. Okay, so let's actually talk about the raffle. I got questions regarding the raffle. So, most of the raffles, if not all of them, while NCCC was supporting National Kidney Foundation, the raffle ticket said, proceeds go to NKF. And so that's great. You know, people buy a raffle ticket, proceeds go to National Kidney Foundation. And I have questions about when it says proceeds. I have talked to a couple accountants who deal with charities, and I have never run a big charity, so I'm obviously naive on how these things work. But from my understanding, when a raffle is advertised as proceeds, that means if you sell $100 in tickets, you give $100 to charity. Typically, that's when the prize has been donated. Okay. So when it says proceeds or all proceeds, that means, you know, everything they sell in tickets goes to the charity. Seems to make sense to me. If it says net proceeds, then the charity is allowed to take out all the expenses of running the charity, including the raffle prize. So if you give away a $50,000 car and you sell $75,000 in tickets, the charity gets $25,000. And maybe a little less because there's printing fees associated with the tickets for that. But the tickets, they always said proceeds. So anyway, if we look at the 2013 tax return, the NCCC Charity Corporation had $47,186 in the bank. I would assume that this money came from previous raffles. So, I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change to have in the bank. So, if that's true, why did NKF receive nothing in 2014? It's not an accusation, it's a question. Why did NKF receive nothing in 2015? And in fact, NKF also received nothing in 2013. So, as I mentioned earlier, NCCC decided to not use NKF. NKF would not be their charity starting in 2016. So, why was the money that was in the NCCC Charity Corporation, not all of that immediately sent to NKF? specifically the $47,186. According to the Rocky Mountain Regional website, they said they in 2016, NCCC was going to make a check to $5,826.64 to National Kidney. What happened to the other 41,000 and change? It seems to me that National Kidney Foundation was due, according to what they had in the bank, NCCC had in the bank for NKF at the beginning of 2016 of $47,186. But they only get a check for $5,800? I mean, obviously I am missing something, and it must be blatantly obvious, but according to the tax returns in 14 and 15, no money was given to NKF. They had 47,000 and change at the beginning of 2013, and they got a check for $5,800 and change in 2018, 2 years after NCCC decided to go to a different charity. Please provide an explanation of why National Kidney Foundation did not get $47,186 as reflected by the 2013 tax return. Now, this is not an accusation. It really isn't. I'm trying to understand what happened to the money. The tickets say proceeds go to NKF or proceeds go to St. Jude. It doesn't say some of the proceeds will go to NKF or some of the proceeds will go to St. Jude. And I also have a question for people who understand charities and all that. When an organization collects some money for a charity and holds a raffle or a prize or a 50-50, when is it typical to give the charity the proceeds? I mean, in our small Corvette club, when we do a car show, we usually hold some kind of a charity drive, during the car show, and usually the charity's right there. And if we're just taking donations like we did last August when we held our car show, we collect the money, we hand it to the charity, it's done. I mean, they get it the same day. In the past, we've done charity drives for wounded warriors. And usually within 2 to 3 weeks after the drive was over, we cut a check to wounded warriors. We don't wait 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We don't withhold, and I'm not saying that NCCC did this, not an accusation, but we give them all the money. We don't carry it over from year to year. So, bottom line, the question is, was that bank, the tax return for 2013 that said $47,186, was that money collected on behalf of National Kidney Foundation, the proceeds from the raffle cars, and if so, did they get that money? And if they didn't, why not? I mean, it's not an accusation, it's just a question. In 2016, the president of NCCC sent an email, there was a president's message email sent out to all the members of NCCC, and in 2016 I was a member. And it said, NCCC's new Corvette raffle program drew a winner at the November governor's meeting, awarding an NCCC member from Nebraska a certificate toward a new Corvette. NCCC can now make a donation to St. Jude. What a success for only 5 months selling tickets. That's great news. It sounds like you made a lot of money for St. Jude. The 2016 tax return shows no money given to charity. There was plenty of time after the raffle, at least in my opinion, there was plenty of time after the raffle to figure out the books and write a check to St. Jude. Your email implied that a donation was going to be made, but the tax returns say nothing was given. Please explain. So, from reading the various meeting minutes of the governors, there was an interesting statement. In the September of 15 NCCC meeting minutes, one of the officers stated the following. He said, "We are done with the National Kidney Foundation. We have not received any support from them in years." That, again, what kind of support does NCCC expect from a charity? I mean, maybe I'm naive. Maybe charities are supposed to support an organization. Our car club, when we pick a charity, we look at what they're doing. If we believe in their cause, we raise money and we give it to them. We don't expect anything in return. I mean, what kind of support is NCCC expecting from their charity? I mean, their charity is busy, in the case of NKF, I assume, trying to fight kidney disease. Are they supposed to support a Corvette club? I mean, that's not in their wheelhouse. Their wheelhouse is trying to fight kidney disease. The same thing for St. Jude. You know, St. Jude is a great organization. You know, they're fighting childhood cancer and never charging a bill to the families. That's an unbelievable charity. Is NCCC expecting some kind of support from St. Jude? Not an accusation, just a question. It was in the meeting minutes. It says, "We have not received any support from them in years." I don't understand. So if someone who's in NCCC knows the answer to this, please let me know, or post it in the response in the video, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Going back to the car raffles, in 2016 and 2017, the tickets clearly stated that if 2,000 tickets were not sold, they would be refunded. So actually last year I saw that, like, well, that's pretty cool. This way, you know, it looks like they're going to give a nice big check to St. Jude. But if they don't sell enough tickets, or if they sell at a loss or whatever, again, it said proceeds, it didn't say net proceeds, but whatever, then no harm, no foul, people get their money back. Well, so I bought a raffle ticket. Turns out they held the raffle. The car was given away. And then, so I thought, oh, that's cool. They sold all 2,000 tickets. So I sent an email to an officer of NCCC and requested, how many tickets were sold. I mean, it's not going to be it's not going to be hard to figure out once their tax returns are made public. Didn't get a response for a while. Finally sent another one. I think I even made a phone call and left a message. Did get a response back. Nowhere near 2,000 tickets. It was under, I don't remember what the exact number was, but it was well under 1,500. So I said, okay, when are the refunds going to be sent out? No response. And I still hadn't received the tax returns from NCCC formally, but doing research on the web, there are organizations out there that apparently have some kind of a data feed with the IRS, and they publish 501c3 tax returns. So I was able to find them, and like, well, wait a minute, 2015, no money was given. 2014, no money was given. 2013, no money was given. I had very low expectations that my $50 that I used to purchase this ticket would make its way to St. Jude. It's not an accusation. It's just from looking at the tax returns. So I requested a refund. And then I also donated $50 directly to St. Jude. That way I knew they were going to get the money. No response. So I filed a protest with my credit card company. They did about a 2-month investigation and said, you're right. They should have refunded your money. I got my $50 back. So to me, the important thing was St. Jude got their money. But when the ticket clearly states, if we don't sell 2,000 tickets, we'll refund. We'll refund the money. Drawing won't be held. But they didn't do that. So I also, when I bought a ticket, I requested for the official rules of the raffle, because I'd assumed there'd be more rules than just what's printed on the front and the back of the ticket. I got no response. So apparently, the rules for this raffle, it's everything that's on the ticket. It's really kind of odd to me. I mean, NCCC, I believe, has been doing these car raffles for 40 years. So you'd think they would have the official rules, and they'd have them on their website, similar to how Windy City Corvettes does in Illinois. But they don't. At least I couldn't find them, and when I asked for them, I didn't get them. So in the letter that I got back in February of this year, which had the tax returns, the attorney also stated the following. It said, should the minimum number of raffle tickets not be sold in a given year, it is a prerogative of NCCC to determine whether to proceed with the raffle or refund the tickets. Well, really? I mean, maybe so, but that's not what's on the ticket. I couldn't find any official rules that say it's the prerogative of NCCC to not do the refund. That makes no sense to me. I showed it to an accountant who does charity work, and he said, no. Well, in his opinion, whatever's on the raffle ticket, unless there's another set of rules somewhere that are made public, that's what they have to do. He said, like, they're saying they're giving away a Corvette. They can't change it and give away a Pinto. You know, the ticket says you'll win a Corvette or you'll win this amount of cash. So anyway, that was just mind-boggling that the attorney said that it's a prerogative of NCCC to determine whether to give the money back or not. So, doing more research about car raffles and raffles in general, most of the states out there require a raffle to be licensed. And, well, when you're selling tickets all over the country, what state do you have to have the license with? Well, again, I'm not a charity guy. I don't know the laws inside and out. This is just from talking to various states like Kentucky, Colorado, Illinois. They say that wherever the winning ticket is drawn, that's where the raffle has to be licensed. So in 2017, the winning ticket was drawn in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So I've been talking to an investigator in Kentucky, and he said, oh no, he said they were not licensed, because he went and looked, and he said they absolutely should have been licensed. One of the things that governments do when when a corporation wants to raffle a license is they'll actually look at the tax returns to make sure that the charities are actually getting the money. So, and I also read him the statement from the attorney about it's a prerogative of NCCC to determine whether to proceed with the raffle or refund the tickets. This was a phone conversation, so I don't have it in writing, but I don't know how laughter, it was what I heard. I've talked to several various inspectors, and when it comes to raffles, they say, well, we kind of look at the raffle to see whether we're really going to, whether we care. If you're raffling off a $50 leather jacket, who cares? I mean, technically the state could go after a charity that's doing a raffle for a $50 item, but it's such a small amount of money. And it's usually very small clubs that are doing it, that they just don't really worry about it. He goes, but if you're giving away a car, you're giving away a $50,000 car, you're selling tickets over the internet, yeah, that's a big deal. That needs to be licensed. So, as far as I know, there is an investigation going on in Kentucky regarding this. But I talked to various other states, because previous year I think the drawing was held in Missouri, and then it was in Pennsylvania and Illinois. Most, if not all, of those states have the same rule. You need to have it licensed. You need a raffle license. So my question to NCCC is, why were the car raffles not licensed in the states where the ticket was held? And in fact, at Mid-America's Corvette Fest they just had in September, NCCC held another raffle. It wasn't for a car, it was for a guitar or something. And they've been selling these tickets for 6 or 9 months. I got in touch with the county that registers raffles to see if NCCC was registered. I did this like last spring. They said no. They had no record of NCCC registering for this raffle. So I actually notified NCCC and their attorney, said, have you gotten a license for this raffle? I got no response, or the typical response I got from the attorney was, have a nice day. Well, that doesn't answer my question. So anyway, I notified them that, they should know the law. And I just confirmed with the county where the raffle was held last week that they have no record of NCCC registering this raffle. So my question to NCCC is, when you hold these raffles, why don't you get a license to hold them? It's not an accusation, it's just a question. NCCC has been holding these car raffles for 40 years. You would think they would know how to do it. So anyway, what I'll do now is I'm just going to bring up the tax returns, and because these are public. You can actually go to a website. I'll show the website at the bottom of where you can get these, the last 3 or 4 years of tax returns. You can also send a request to NCCC, and by law, they have to provide them, because by law they are made public. So let's take a look at the tax returns. This is 2013 through 2016. So 2013, NCCC, the charity corporation, collected $43,584 in receipts. I assume that's ticket sales. According to line 13, where it says grants and similar amounts paid, which is where you report how much you gave to charity, the value is 0. 2014, they collected in gross receipts $43,710. Given to charity, 0. 2015, $29,820 in gross receipts. The amount given to charity is 0. 2016, the amount collected in gross receipts, $63,834. The amount is 0. So the number one thing that I would like to request of NCCC to do, no accusations whatsoever, is for a formal audit to be done. In February of 2017, in the governor's meeting minutes, which is publicly available on the web, it was stated that NCCC has given NKF close to $750,000. I really hope that's accurate. I really do. In May of this year, meeting minutes state that the number was around $250,000. So that's about $500,000 difference. Pretty big number. So my request to NCCC is to have an outside auditing firm audit all of the years that NCCC supported NKF. I think they started back in the late 90s and they quit in 2015. Should be pretty easy to do. You get the tax returns, you add up all of the line 13s for those years, and that's how much NCCC stated they gave to NKF during that time frame. If that number is significantly different than what was stated in the February 2017 meeting minutes of close to $750,000, I would like to request that NCCC cut a check to the National Kidney Foundation for the difference. I think that's the ethical thing to do. If NCCC was advertising that they gave close to $750,000 to NKF, and in reality they did not give them that number, they should make up the difference. This is not an accusation whatsoever. It's just different documents state different things. And if NCCC was advertising to the public and telling its sponsors or whatever that they gave National Kidney Foundation $750,000, which I really hope they did, I really do, because that's a lot of money. It's great charity. But that number is significantly different. I think it's only right for NCCC to pony up the money that they advertised that they gave to National Kidney Foundation. So, given that NCCC and the Charity Corporation are entities that deal with quite a bit of money, I was curious if their books are ever audited externally. And so I kind of dug around, going through the meeting minutes, and it turns out in May of 2007, at the governor's meeting, they addressed it, and it looks like there is an article in the official bylaws of NCCC around auditing the books, which I think was a good thing, is a good thing. But they changed them in May of 2007. Previous to May of 2007, it said the rules were: the executive board shall have the treasurer's accounts, including charity accounts, audited at least biannually, in coordination with the term of the treasurer by a CPA firm, who shall render a report to the Board of Governors. So my question is, were those biennial audits done, specifically on the charity accounts, and were those reports provided to the governors? I could not really find any formal reports in the charity or in the governor's meeting minutes, but it's very conceivable I missed them. In May of 2007, they changed the bylaws, and the new rule is: the executive board shall have the treasurer's accounts, general operating, grants and scholarship, and annual convention accounts audited annually by a CPA firm based on agreed upon procedures per the statement on auditing standards. A report shall be presented to the Board of Governors. So they removed the clause about the charity accounts being audited. However, they did add the following: the charity raffle accounts shall be audited annually by a special committee appointed by the Executive Committee per Article 11, Section 4 for this purpose. So it looks like the charity accounts were no longer going to be audited externally by a CPA firm, but they were going to be audited internally by NCCC itself. My question is, were those audits done on an annual basis per the bylaw changes, and were reports made available to the governors? Again, I did not see any reports in the all the governor's meeting minutes. They might be there. I may have missed them. Again, not an accusation, just asking a question about whether these audits were done. Well, boys and girls, that is it. I doubt many people are still watching this YouTube video because it no doubt will be very long, but if you are, I appreciate it. Again, these are just questions that I have around NCCC and their charity program. There is no bad wishes towards NCCC. I'm just trying to get some answers. So if anyone out there has the answers to my questions, if there's any attorneys out there that work with charities, I know I asked several questions around that were legal based. I would appreciate if you respond to the comments and provide your thoughts, not only for myself, but for others. If you're an NCCC member or a former NCCC member and have answers to any of the questions that I posed, feel free to send me a message via YouTube or post the answer in the comments, and that's it. So signing off, and let's just end the video with some entertainment and play something on the violin machine. Play something by the Beatles.